In this demonstration, what we're going to do is we're actually going to configure live migration. So the first thing we need to do is enable our cluster shared volumes so that each of the hosts can access the LUN where the virtual machine is stored. So what we're going to do here is just in our action pane, underneath our cluster, is we're just going to come in and enable our cluster shared volumes. So yep, we've read the notice, we'll click OK. So that's all done. The next thing we need to do is just add a disk to the cluster shared volumes. So to do that, all we're going to do is just go to our cluster shared volumes tab. And what we want to do here is we want to add the storage that we're going to use for the cluster shared volume. And what we have here is we've got disk 2. So we'll just highlight disk 2. Click OK at this point here. It's now adding the disk as the cluster shared volume disk. So that's all done. So we just have a look at this, just ensure it is definitely there. We can see the clustered shared storage in place. Right, next thing to do now is make the virtual machine highly available. So what we've got is we've got NYC host 1, we've got the cluster manager up and running. So what we're going to do here is we're just going to come down to services and applications. And what we want to do here is we just want to configure a service or application to make it highly available. So click the next button. And now at this point here, we're just going to scroll down. And what we want to select here is we want to select virtual machine. So highlight virtual machine, select our next button, and the virtual machine that we want to make highly available is HA test. So we'll highlight HA test, select our next button, select our next button again under the confirmation, and allow this to finish. That's all done now, so we've now made this virtual machine highly available. The next thing to do will actually be to test the live migration functionality. So we're going to move the virtual machine from NYC host 1 to NYC host 2 whilst the virtual machine is up and running. Right, the virtual machine is now online, so what we'll do now is we'll just connect the virtual machine, log into the virtual machine just to ensure that it is up and running correctly. Which it is. What we're going to do here is we're just going to open up the firewall ports, because what I want to do is send a ping against this virtual machine once I do the live migration to ensure that the virtual machine doesn't actually die as part of the live migration. So what we've done here is just allowing through pings to this virtual machine. Now that we've done all of that, next thing that we're going to do here is we're just actually going to note down the IP address. For the virtual machine, what we'll then do through DC1 is we'll just send a ping against this while we're doing a live migration. Well, we're now across on DC1, we're sending a ping against that virtual machine. The next thing we want to do now is we actually just want to do a live migration. So what we'll do is we'll just minimize down the console for NYC DC1. We'll also get rid of the one for HA. And then what we'll do is we'll just come into our failover cluster manager. And what we're going to do here is we're just going to live migrate this virtual machine to another host. So what we're going to do here, click on Live Migrate Virtual Machine to another node. We're going to migrate to host 2. Wizard's now kicking in, so what we'll do here is we'll just actually revert back to DC1 just to watch the pings in effect. Right, we lost one ping, but that's fine. Let's then come back up and running again so we can see that the virtual machine is now probably migrated across. So just leave this for a little bit more, and then what we'll do is we'll just go into Hyper-V Manager, click on NYC host 2 and just verify that HA test is now running on host 2. So here we go, here's Hyper-V Manager, can't see HA test anymore, come to host 2, HA test is now live migrated across. So what we've done here, in the previous demonstration we set up the cluster. In this demonstration, what we've done is we set up the cluster shared volume and live migrate the virtual machine from one host to another. That's the end of the demonstration.